Students, good evening. Welcome to Pharma Syndrome YouTube channel. And today we are going to discussing definitions of agonist, antagonist, partial agonist, and inverse agonist. Okay, so in pharmacology, in the subject of pharmacology, there is a number of drugs are there. So in that number of drugs, we categorized our drugs into simply agonist, antagonist, partial agonist, as well as inverse agonist. Means how? So there is a two parameters are there. That is, one is affinity and other one is intrinsic activity. Another one is intrinsic activity. Affinity. So every drug have to bind to the receptors to show its action. So it is common. So generally in the classroom there may be first, second, third rank like that. But not all 50 people are getting the first 2-3 ranks. Like here, all people will come and sit into the class. So like that, all drug molecules will interact with the receptor. That is affinity. Binding of a ligand molecule to the receptor is affinity. But intrinsic activity, the intrinsic activity is also called as efficacy or biological action or pharmacological action. The intrinsic activity will decides the drug is antagonist, agonist, partial or inverse agonist. Okay, so here first we will start with the agonist. So why agonist? S means there is a in agonist again partial agonist, inverse agonist. So here drugs that bind with the receptor and produces effect similar to physiological effect. So agonist means mimics the action of physiological molecule. Here example is acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is one and only neurotransmitter in parasympathetic nervous system, and it acts as a agonist for muscarinic receptors. There is a 5 types of muscarinic receptors are there. All 5 are belongs to G protein couple receptors. So here one of the example is acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is an endogenous molecule. It is agonist at the muscarinic receptor. Adrenaline is agonist at beta receptors, nothing but adrenergic receptors. Dopamine at the dopamine receptors, all are acting as a agonist. Here the example is acetylcholine. So here acetylcholine is binds to M3 receptors. Acetylcholine is binds to M2 receptors present on the ileum, that is related to the gastrointestinal tract. So here what is the activity here observing when acetylcholine is interacting with the M3 receptors present on the ileum, it producing contraction. So if you take acetylcholine acting drugs, means acetylcholine like acting drugs, or acetylcholine derivatives like methanicol, carbachol, bethanical, these drugs also produce the same action. So here for example, bethanical is a acetylcholine derivative, is a physiological mimic for the acetylcholine. So that is a definition of the agonist. If you take acetylcholine present in the body, and if you take acetylcholine preparations out of the body, that preparations also shows action like acetylcholine, then they are called as agonist molecule. So there are number of agonist molecules are there. I hope you studied through the pharmacology, subject of the pharmacology. Next, in agonist also, there are different types of there. In first, there is a full agonist. Full agonist means here the full agonist, partial agonist, that is a interaction between the receptor and ligand molecule. Full agonist, it is fully interactive with the receptors. So it's a total chemical groups having interaction with the receptor molecule and shows the full agonism. So here it produces maximum effect. For example, we can written it as a 100% action, or we can written it as a 1. Means you can in the graph you can mention it as a 100% also. So full agonist means shows 100% pharmacological action. That is 100% agonistic action. Here the example is morphine on opioid receptors. Morphine on opioid receptors. Next, partial agonist. Next is partial agonist. So partial means the name itself indicating partial. It producing half of the action of agonist. For example, if full agonist is 100%, then partial agonist is 50%. If full agonist is 1, partial agonist is 0.5, like that. So here the partial agonist produce submaximal effect. చిన్న రెండు నిమిషం. Okay, students, sorry for inconvenience. So here partial agonist produce submaximal effect, and here the intrinsic activity between 0 to 1, between 0 to 1, but here it is 1 or sometimes may greater than 1. So here partial response of the agonist, that is half of the agonist. And here important point we have to understand and remember, the partial agonist antagonize the effect of full agonist. Full agonist 100%, but partial agonist 50%. This partial agonist antagonize the effect of full agonist. And the example is here buprenorphine on opioid receptors. Buprenorphine on the opioid receptor. The same morphine on opioid receptor full agonist. The same buprenorphine on the opioid receptor partial agonist. Here this is because of the interaction. The agonist 100% is interacting with the receptors and showing conformational change, and partial agonist only partially interacting and showing the conformational change. Here the interaction between chemical groups of the receptors as well as chemical groups of the drug molecule, that is may be also called as ligand, that may be also called as drug, that may be full agonist, that may be partial agonist. And again repeating, affinity is common. Every drug molecule is having affinity, but based on their interaction, based on their intrinsic activity or pharmacological activity, biological activity or efficacy, then you can call it as a agonist or antagonist or partial agonist or inverse agonist. Okay. Next is inverse agonist. It is full opposite to the agonist. Agonist in the form of positive action. Agonist is positive action. Inverse agonist is opposite in the negative action. In the graph you can represent as agonist in the positive side and inverse agonist in the negative side. Here inverse agonist. So what is the description regarding inverse agonist? Produce opposite or reverse physiological effect. Here the intrinsic activity between 0 to -1. So I already told you agonist you can take as a +1, but in case of inverse agonist it is -1. So it is opposite to the agonist. One of the example is, frequently they are asked in the competitive exams, beta carbolin at GABA A receptor is called as inverse agonist. It is an example of inverse agonist. And GABA is gamma aminobutyric acid. It is one of the inhibitory neurotransmitter. Generally, if GABA A receptors are occupied by the GABA, so GABA is a neurotransmitter. If it is binds to GABA A receptor, what will happen? In the CNS, there will be relaxation. The CNS cells will be relaxed. But when beta carbolin binds to GABA A receptor, generally GABA binds to GABA A receptors, it will be relaxation, CNS depression. But instead of GABA, beta carbolin is binding to GABA A receptor. Then what will happen? Opposite to CNS depression, there will be a chance of CNS excitation. GABA A receptors when bind by GABA, then CNS depression, that is the GABA is acting as a agonist at the GABA A receptors and producing CNS depression. Here beta carbolin is the inverse agonist, opposite to the agonist, opposite to the GABA action. GABA action is CNS depression, but beta carbolin is opposite to the GABA. Beta carbolin produces CNS stimulation. Excess usage of beta carbolin or excess binding of beta carbolin at GABA A receptor produce convulsions, but binding of GABA to the GABA A receptors is relaxation, CNS depression. GABA action is agonism, beta carbolin action is inverse agonism. Next, antagonist. Just a second. Next, after these types of agonist discussion, now we are moving to the antagonist. So what is antagonist? Simply oppose the action of physiological molecules. Simply oppose the molecules actions of physiological molecules or ligands. Regarding antagonist, same, it also binds the receptors. So first it have to bind with the receptor. First you have to sit in the class. Then you have to take notes, you have to go through, you have to focus, and you have to write the exams well. Then you will get the good rank. Like that here, first you have to sit in the class before that. Okay. Like here also, first it have to interact with the receptors, but do not have their own work. They antagonize or block the effect of agonist. Here agonist action is inhibited. How? This is the receptor molecule. To this receptor molecule, antagonist will bind like this. Antagonists are large molecule. They are competitive in nature. They compete with the agonist and interacting with the receptor like this. When antagonist is interacting with like this, then no chance of agonist to bind. That's why these are called as antagonist. For example, atropine is an antagonist for the acetylcholine. Naloxone is antagonist for the morphine. Propranolol is antagonist for the adrenaline. So because of binding of antagonist molecules to the receptors, the agonist is unable to bind. Due to that, antagonism is achieving. The antagonist molecules are called competitive antagonists because they work in presence of agonist molecule only. They compete with the agonist and they side the agonist and they interact with the receptor and oppose the action. That is antagonist molecule. Antagonist molecule means they oppose the physiological action of endogenous molecules. Atropine is antagonist for acetylcholine. Propranolol is antagonist for adrenaline. Nothing but acetylcholine binds to muscarinic receptors. So atropine blocks muscarinic receptors. Morphine blocks opioid receptors. And propranolol blocks adrenergic receptors. So like this, we can easily understand the different definitions of this antagonist, agonist, like that. Antagonist, agonist, partial agonist, inverse agonist, like that. And here the explanation is like agonist, there is a acetylcholine binds to muscarinic receptors on ileum, causes contraction, but atropine is a antagonist. Because of its antagonism on muscarinic receptors, what is happening ultimately? No effect. And because of atropine binding to muscarinic receptors, acetylcholine is not binding, and in agonism, acetylcholine interaction with receptor causing contraction, but here acetylcholine interaction reducing because of atropine binding to the receptors, and there is a smooth muscle relaxation. Because of acetylcholine on ileum, the smooth muscle contraction, but due to atropine binding, opposite action, that is relaxation of the smooth muscle present on the ileum. So this is the simple description regarding the, nothing but discussion regarding the definitions of agonist, antagonist, partial agonist, inverse agonist. Okay, thank you. Keep following us for more videos.